Troy's story about wrestling with death reveals a deep-seated fear of mortality that drives his behavior and worldview. It highlights the profound impact of past trauma, his military service, and lost opportunity to play professional baseball on his present actions. Troy expresses his resentment towards Jackie Robinson and the changing times in baseball, revealing a bitterness stemming from perceived missed opportunities and racial injustice. Troy's dismissal of Rose's attempts to guide him away from dangerous drinking habits showcases his defiant personality and resistance to change. This moment reveals the underlying tension in Troy's relationship with his son Corey, as he rejects his dreams of playing football and prioritizes a more pragmatic approach to life. The dialogue highlights Troy's complicated relationship with death, demonstrating his fear and defiance towards it through exaggerated storytelling. This moment emphasizes Troy's manipulative tactics and his ability to exert control over others through guilt and emotional manipulation. The exchange between Troy, Rose, and Bono reveals the power dynamics within their relationships. With Troy often dominating conversations, the dialogue hints at a deep-seated resentment within Troy towards white society and the perceived injustices he has faced. This moment showcases Troy's stubborn refusal to acknowledge change and his insistence on clinging to past experiences. Troy's use of hyperbole and exaggerated storytelling reveals a tendency to embellish reality, possibly as a coping mechanism or means of self-validation. This dialogue reveals the complex dynamic between Troy and Lyons, highlighting their strained relationship rooted in financial dependence and resentment. Troy's refusal to lend Lyons money exposes his deep-seated bitterness towards his son's perceived laziness and unwillingness to contribute. Troy recounts his encounter with a loan shark he refers to as the devil, emphasizing his struggle with financial responsibility and the desperation that can lead people to make morally ambiguous choices. This story serves as a metaphor for Troy's own life, suggesting that he feels trapped by his circumstances. The scene sheds light on Troy's internal struggles and his tendency to blame external forces for his problems. His encounter with the loan shark serves as a catalyst for his resentment towards Lyons and reinforces his belief in personal responsibility. Troy's insistence on paying off the loan, even after 15 years, highlights his unwavering commitment to fulfilling obligations, regardless of personal cost. This detail also reveals a potential for regret and the weight of past decisions. This dialogue unveils a significant shift in Troy's perspective, revealing his inner conflict between personal beliefs and the realities of life. His decision to prioritize material possessions over spiritual well-being underscores the complexities of human nature. The exchange between Troy and Rose highlights their differing viewpoints on morality and responsibility. While Troy justifies his actions, Rose expresses concern about the ethical implications of his choices. This moment reveals the deep-seated frustration and resentment Troy feels towards Lyons. His inability to find a job becomes a source of conflict, highlighting the generational divide and societal inequalities. This dialogue delves into the complex psychological impact of Troy's past experiences and his struggle with identity. His fear of being labeled crazy and his rejection of societal norms reveal a deep sense of alienation. This moment highlights Troy's internal conflict and his desperate attempts to find meaning and purpose in a world that often feels hostile and unforgiving. This moment reveals Gabe's innocence and childlike wonder, contrasting sharply with Troy's cynicism and bitterness. It also foreshadows the potential tragedy of Gabe's situation, highlighting his vulnerability in a world that doesn't always understand him. This exchange reveals Troy's deeply ingrained bitterness towards the sports world, highlighting the injustice he feels regarding racial discrimination. He blames this experience for shaping his stance on Corey pursuing a football career. This moment exposes the rift between Troy and Rose, highlighting their contrasting perspectives on life, love, and family. Troy's focus on duty and obligation clashes with Rose's nurturing approach. This scene reveals a pivotal turning point in Troy's relationship with Corey. His denial of Corey's aspirations stems from fear and personal trauma, leading to a clash of values between father and son. This dialogue emphasizes Troy's controlling nature and his reluctance to acknowledge Corey's individuality. His insistence on dictating Corey's path reveals a deep-seated fear of letting go. The weight of Bono's words hangs heavy in the air. He speaks of Troy's past, painting a vivid picture of his descent into darkness, his harrowing experience with betrayal and violence, and ultimately his redemption through a chance encounter. This reveals Bono not as a mere acquaintance, but as a confidant, a beacon of wisdom guiding Troy's path. Troy's words drip with a mixture of protectiveness and fear, his heart torn between the love for his son and the instinct to control him. This unspoken battle, this clash of wills, foreshadows a tempestuous future, a storm that threatens to tear their bond apart. The echoes of Troy's past reverberate through his present, revealing a cycle of violence that threatens to consume him. His father's brutal hand, etched into his memory, casts a long shadow over his own actions, a haunting reminder of the trauma he desperately seeks to escape. Troy's voice cracks with yearning as he speaks of his desire for a life unbound by poverty and hardship, a dream that has become a burning ember within his soul. His journey to the city is not just a physical migration, but a desperate quest for freedom, an escape from the shackles of his past. The bond between Troy and Bono transcends mere friendship. It is a testament to shared experience and unwavering loyalty. Their past intertwines like threads of a tapestry, woven together by trials and triumphs. In their mutual respect lies a silent promise, a pact forged in the fires of adversity. Troy's frustration simmers beneath the surface, his words laced with bitterness as he recounts his struggle for survival. The sting of rejection, the gnawing hunger, the relentless weight of poverty, these are the burdens he carries on his shoulders. Troy's possessive nature is exposed, his desire for control over Rose manifesting as a chilling declaration of ownership. His words are a stark reminder of the power dynamics at play in their relationship, a precarious balance teetering on the brink. The clash between generations explodes into view. Troy's traditional values, steeped in the past, collide with Corey's aspirations for a future unbound by convention. This generational divide threatens to fracture their family, leaving behind a chasm of misunderstanding and resentment. Troy's words reveal a man wrestling with his demons, haunted by the fear of repeating his father's mistakes. He seeks redemption through providing for his son, striving to break the cycle of violence and create a better future for Corey. Troy finds solace in Rose's unwavering presence, her love anchoring him amidst the storms of his life. She is his safe harbor, a constant reminder of the enduring power of human connection. In this crucible of truth, Troy stands exposed. His justification for infidelity, a desperate quest for self-discovery, rings hollow. It reveals the knowing emptiness within him, a yearning for validation that drove him to betray the vows he swore. Rose's voice cracks with anguish. Her words, sharp as shards of broken glass, cut deep into Troy's soul. Years of unspoken resentment, buried dreams waiting to bloom, all erupt in a torrent of pain and betrayal. The air thickens with tension, a palpable storm brewing between them. Troy's callous comparison, their love reduced to a mere baseball game, further inflames the fire, revealing his utter disregard for Rose's agonizing heart-ache. Troy attempts to justify the unjustifiable, his logic warped by self-deception. He casts himself as a daring player, seeking out new opportunities, but in reality, he is a man running from his own demons. Rose's words pierce through the facade, laying bare the hollowness of their union. Her plea, "You should have stayed in my bed," Troy, echoes with a profound sense of longing and unfulfilled needs. Their souls stand miles apart, separated by an abyss of misunderstanding. While Troy seeks fulfillment outside their vows, Rose yearns for a connection that runs deeper than the surface. Troy's words reveal a man who has built walls around his heart. His fear of vulnerability, of truly opening himself to another, led him down a path of self-destruction. Troy's attempt to minimize Rose's pain, comparing their love to a mere baseball game, exposes the profound power imbalance in their relationship. His lack of empathy is a dagger to her soul. Troy's analogy, life as a series of choices on a baseball field, reveals his selfish perspective. He sees himself as the player, free to pursue any opportunity, regardless of the consequences. Rose's words are a lament, a cry from a soul starved for connection. Her unfulfilled dreams and unspoken desires echo through her accusation. Rose's statement, "I planted myself inside you and waited to bloom," is a heart-wrenching declaration of emptiness. She poured her entire being into their marriage, only to be met with silence and neglect. Troy's attempt to trivialize Rose's pain, comparing their situation to a baseball game, is a testament to the breakdown of their love. Communication has failed. Empathy is absent, leaving only a chasm of despair. Troy's yearning for something more, a thrill, an escape from the mundane, leads him down a destructive path. He seeks validation outside his marriage, unaware of the wreckage he is leaving behind. Rose's accusation cuts deep. His failure to see her, to truly acknowledge her as a person with needs and desires, is a testament to their fractured relationship. This exchange reveals Troy's deep-seated insecurities and his desperate attempt to control everything in his life. Rose's unwavering dedication to him is challenged by his refusal to acknowledge her needs and feelings. A chasm widens between Troy and Rose, their words echoing the shattered fragments of a love that once was. Their inability to connect leaves them adrift in a sea of unspoken pain and longing. Troy's hypocrisy cuts deep, revealing a cruel heart beneath a facade of strength. His actions towards Gabe expose the dark side of his nature, shattering Rose's trust and leaving her reeling in disbelief. In a heart-wrenching confession, Troy acknowledges his pain while refusing to take responsibility for his actions. His attempt at justification only deepens the chasm between him and Rose. The final words echo with both longing and resignation. Troy's attempt at connection is met with an icy silence, leaving him alone in his self-made prison of regret. Corey's refusal to attend his father's funeral. A thunderous silence grips the room as the words echo, "I'm not going to Papa's funeral." A young man, cast adrift from a legacy he cannot bear, chooses his own path. This act of defiance, this breaking free from the suffocating grip of expectation, is a seismic shift, signaling a future forged in independence, a future untethered from Troy's shadow. Rose's voice, a whisper tinged with both pain and acceptance, reveals the depths of her understanding. "When your daddy walked through the house, he was just so big. He filled it up. That was my first mistake. Not to make him leave some room for me." She acknowledges the towering presence that consumed their lives, the love-hate dance they shared, a melody woven with sacrifices and unwavering devotion. The final curtain falls on Troy's life. A hush descends as his absence becomes a palpable void, forcing those left behind to confront the ghosts of their past. This is not simply an ending, it is a reckoning. Each soul grapples with the legacy he leaves, wrestling with the complexities of a man who loved fiercely and fought relentlessly. Corey's yearning for freedom reverberates through his simple declaration, "I just want to be me." These words are not just an expression of desire, they are a battle cry, a desperate plea to escape the suffocating weight of Troy's expectations and carve his own path. Rose, her voice trembling with both grief and love, utters words that reveal the depths of her forgiveness. "And if the Lord see fit to keep up my strength, I'm gonna do her exactly how your daddy did you." In this moment, Rose chooses to remember Troy not just for his flaws, but for the love he poured into their family, a love she chooses to honor. Rose's life, intertwined with Troy's, is a tapestry woven with both joy and hardship. She acknowledges this in a chillingly beautiful confession, "I took on his life as mine and mixed up the pieces, so you couldn't hardly tell which was which." A woman who sacrifices her own identity for love, a woman bound to a destiny she could not escape. The haunting lyrics of Troy's beloved song about Blue, the dog who brought home possums, foreshadow his own yearning for accomplishment. Hear it ring, Blue treed a possum in a hollow log from, that you know Blue was a good old dog. Troy yearns for recognition, for a legacy that will echo beyond his lifetime. Corey, seeking solace in the past, visits his father's grave. His words, a mournful whisper, echo through the stillness. "Go on, Blue, you good dog, you Blue laid down and died like a man. Blue laid down and died. Blue laid down and died like a man. No, he's treeing possums in the promised land." A final attempt to reconcile with the ghosts of their past, a desperate search for closure in the face of unyielding grief. Thanks for tuning in. Stay curious, stay awesome, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more amazing content.